Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Pinball and a Movie episode. Today, we're going to be looking at the Back to the Future movie from 1985. But before we get into that, I want to kind of introduce people who are maybe new or not familiar with these Pinball and a Movie episodes. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm watching movies that have been translated into pinball machines. So you think about, right now we're doing a tournament on Indiana Jones from Williams. That is based on the first Indiana Jones movie. The Data East table, Back to the Future, is based on the franchise, all three Back to the Future movies. Think about Hook from Data East, Shrek from Stern, Waterworld from Gottlieb, Batman Forever from Sega. So you can kind of see a familiarity here with these with movies, pinball tables based on movies. And I don't know the first one, I don't know the first pinball table movie combination, but it's very interesting that it came into the foray because, you know, think about pinball tables from before the first pinball table movie. It was just based on themes, sports themes, billiards, any kind of general theme. But when you introduce movies into the pinball scene, it's just an interesting kind of collision between media and gaming, right? So there's that, like, you know, that clash and that nice mix when you can base a game on some other form of media, like a movie. So that's what I want you to have in the back of your mind as we go through this. So this is going to be a little longer than usual, but today we're going to be looking at the Back to the Future table that was released on Pinball FX 3 in 2017, which is also based on all three movies, all three Back to the Future movies. But the cool thing about this table, being an original, is that it has different modes where you can start at different time periods. So the first movie takes place in 1955, and on this table you can start at 1955 if you want to, which is what I'll do, because the other movies, which I haven't seen yet, are based on the other modes. I think 2015, and then some alteration of a different time. But this movie, speaking about the movie itself, it was very successful in the box office. It had a $19 million budget, and it grossed about $388 million in the box office. So very successful. It's been referenced in TV, cartoons, Great Scott, you know, Gigawatts, Flux Capacitor, and it's just a great movie overall, because the one thing I think it does really well is, as you watch this movie, you're constantly thinking about the concept of time. This movie focuses on a time machine, so it's going back in time and then going back to the future, right? Like its title. And when I was watching this, I kept on thinking about how time is such an interesting and integral part of our experience as humans. I mean, here I am watching a movie made in 1985. It was probably shot before then. The year right now is 2024. The movie that I'm watching is going back to 1955. And so you have all this time manipulation. And also think about time, how many different facets of life revolve around time manipulation. You think about when you have a VCR, a fast forward, a rewind. So you're forwarding, you're going backward, you're rewinding a tape, you're slowing down. You know, think about games that are based on time manipulation, where you can go to slow motion, you slow time down, you speed time up. right? So time is very interesting when you think about it from a scientific point of view. And you know, there's always this thing about how us as humans are never living in the moment, in the present, and the present is all we have. So we're always thinking about the future, right? Like, for example, I can't wait until 5 o'clock in the future today, because I'll be able to watch a basketball game that I've been wanting to see. But that's thinking in the future. And then sometimes I'll find myself thinking about the past. Oh, remember when I was a kid, being how easy life was in the, you know, growing up in the 90s. And so very often we're not living in the present, and that's a very interesting thing to me as a, you know, I really like philosophy, and it's something that I think time is really something a lot of philosophers tried to kind of figure out. But so when we're talking about this movie, I think it's really great. I thought it was good. I thought it aged well, from 1985. And basically the story is about Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, who, you know, is friends with a mad scientist, played by Christopher Lloyd. And in the first movie, they take this time machine and in a DeLorean, right? And he goes back to the year 1955. So this time machine can go back to certain dates. And for some reason, I mean, they ended up going back to 1955 because that's what they put on the, you know, their destination time, right? And so 1955, he's brought back, Marty McFly is brought back to the time in Hill Valley, California, where he grew up, where he and his parents grew up. So 1955, he goes back into time, and the town hasn't been built yet, really, you know. And he gets back, and he's wondering where is he, because everyone's, you know, dressed different, the music's different, and he figures out that, wow, he just traversed through time. And while he's there, he meets the younger versions of his parents, and he sees how his parents, you know, how their past really affected his existence. So if his parents didn't meet in 1955 at the dance, and certain events didn't lead up to how it was supposed to be, Marty McFly might have never been. And so the whole point of the first movie is Marty McFly is trying to go back to the future without altering the past. And the past, 1955, he's playing with fire, because you change a little event in the past, his existence and his family, his brothers and sisters, might not be alive in the future. So you think about like how time, you wonder how events affect one another, right? Are there some events that take place in a vacuum, or does an event something that I do today, does that have, you know, what effect does it have in 10 years, right? 10 or 15 years. And that's another thing that I thought about while watching this. So it's a great movie. It has comedy. Another thing I want to say is that Crispin Glover, I believe is his name, who plays the father, the younger father of Marty McFly. You know, I saw him. He's a great actor, but I couldn't help but see his character in Willard, which was a 2003 movie he did, where he played like a really weird guy that had some like infatuation with rats. So I couldn't help see that when I was watching this, and also I couldn't help but see Uncle Fester when I was looking at Christopher Lloyd. It's nothing against the actors, it's just kind of, you know, you associate them with certain roles in movies. I think Robin Williams was one of those actors who could play many roles and you wouldn't think about his previous roles. So like, you could be watching Good Will Hunting and you wouldn't think about Mrs. Doubtfire. So I think that's why I think Robin Williams was such a great actor in that sense. But without going off topic, let's play this game here, this table, on Pinball FX. So now that I've seen the first movie, a lot of the things on the table make sense to me. The guitar, the skateboard, what Marty McFly is wearing. And check this out. There's the flux capacitor. And what's cool about this table is you set the destination time. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go in chronological order, where we're going to 1955, which is where the first movie takes place. So let's go here. There's the DeLorean.
If you're gonna shoot the ball, why not do it with some skill?
And right now you're hearing the music from the 1950s, right? And you see the guitar there was the because Marty he's a musician, right? You find that out in the very beginning, that he's an aspiring musician. And look at this right here, this moving cardboard dude is I think it's the younger version of Marty McFly's father, or someone, you know, from the 50s. And watch, when you hit him, look at the score on the score display. 1,955 points. I love that. I just love that little touch there. So a lot of the call-outs and what you're hearing too are directly from the movie. I think that's another reason why it's great to familiarize yourself with the movies. You can definitely enjoy these tables without it, but it makes it just enhances the experience, in my opinion. Then you see Doc Brown on the right. There's the gigawatts. Gigawatt, I mean. Another thing that I really like is this cardboard dude moving left to right, this moving target. It hasn't been done a lot in many tables. The only one I can think about is, I think it was the Rolling Stones table from Stern. Has something very similar. But I really like that mechanic. It just looks like the aesthetic. So there you see the at a time license plate. I believe that was the license plate on the DeLorean. Also, I gotta say, this movie I love the synopsis, the story, but I just found it so funny and weird at the same time that Marty's mom from the past was basically hitting on him. So it gets kind of weird, right? But I hope I didn't confuse anyone who hasn't seen the movie. For me, it's kind of hard to explain. But I'm curious to know what you guys thought of the movie, the first one. What are your favorite scenes, or which movie did you like the best? I know that Bad Jack Daniels told me he liked the first one. And Urko was telling me to watch all three, which I'm definitely going to do, because the first one leaves you with the cliffhanger, right? And it's just such an interesting concept for a movie. Time travel, and time manipulation, and space-time continuum. And how we think about time, how we look at time. Oh no, there are two kickbacks that weren't lit though. And then also in the background you see the clock tower, which is a very important part in the first movie, because that's where the electricity was generated for powering up the time machine, the DeLorean. Also, you did see, when you watch the movie, you see a lot of product placement. Like, I saw JVC, that recording company. I saw Pepsi. I always like to look at product placement. They still do it, I believe, too, right? Just a funny movie. I think, if I think about my favorite part, is probably when, you know, when Marty's dad from the past is fighting off Biff because of how awkward he is. I just love that character. One of my favorite characters in the first movie is Marty's younger version of his father from the 50s.
Whoa, Biff. What's that?
It's also a good table. And if you look at the top, you can see a movie still of from the first movie where that's the town before it gets built up, where Marty is from, Marty McFly's from, in Hill Valley, California. I also like the beginning of the movie with all the clocks. So glad I watched it. So glad I'm doing these pinball movies because it's getting me familiar with, you know, pop culture and pinball. So it's been fun doing this. I'm gonna look to finish these Back to the Future, the rest, and then get into the Indiana Jones for a pinball movie. Great Scott. Have the kickback there. Here's a trivia question for those of you guys who are into the trivia. How many miles per hour does the DeLorean have to go to start the flux capacitor? There's a number. So if you guys know, without looking, without cheating, if you can tell me in the comments, what is that magic number? Let's go. Guessing I have to hit the flux capacitor for jackpot? Yeah, I think so. I remember the last time I played this on FX3, I had a really long game session where I got to like 300 million, I think. Wow, you got a lot of multi-balls here. It's a pretty cool table for the original, I gotta say. I mean, look at this. And this is classic mode, by the way. Wow. This is awesome. Wow, I got gigawatt, 1.21 gigawatts. Getting some unlocks here. Oh, I got an extra ball too. Let's go. Wonder if I can get on like the top 100 in the leaderboard. Oh no, I don't want to go further without. Let's go to 1985. Oh no. So it looks like we completed 1955.
Why not do it with some skill?
Oh, the guitar's yellow here. That's cool. Oh, that's awesome. And I love how this movie brings up, like, you know, the theory of alternate timelines, right? What if there is one, you know, in an alternate universe, you know, maybe I'm not into pinball. I do think about that, like, I think about alternate realities.
Generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity I need.
Got that thing hooked up to the car.
The extra ball.
Well, it's story. Right?
Extra ball word? Did I get another extra ball?
We just bought us some time. This is what makes time travel possible. The
Flux capacitor. Got the kickback.
Let me, the car, the car.
All one locked. Oh no. Probably should have nudged more.
Couldn't end like this.
81 million? Not bad. Where does that put me? Oh, I got the clock tower. Okay, let's see on the leaderboard. Ooh, only 81 at 2,400. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this pinball movie on Back to the Future, the first one. I'm thinking about watching the rest and then going back to this table and switching the time periods, or going and doing it on the Data East version. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about it. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Take care.